Welcome to the Mind Body Podcast. I'm your host, Maria Angelova, and I'm here to challenge everything you have been told about aging and wellness. This podcast is for those who refuse to accept that growing old means growing unhealthy. Each week, I will bring you dynamic conversations with inspirational guests, sharing practical advice, insights, and motivation to live your life rebelliously as you age with grace and vitality. This is your time to embrace self-care, transformation, and an infectious spirit that says no to the conventional and yes to a vibrant, powerful life. Let's dive in and redefine what it means to live well. Hi, Rebels, and welcome to the Mind Body Podcast, your rebellious podcast with me, your host, Maria, where it is all about the strong body, calm mind, healing, and fully living. And you Rebels, we have an extra special treat today. We have two powerhouses in the house. We have Sha Grondin, hello.
Hello.
And we have Elizabeth Rosenberg, who empower professionals and entrepreneurs, get this, to manage their time and money. I mean, come on, like those are the two things that most people are like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. So get ready for a delightful conversation. Welcome, ladies. How you doing?
Thank you. We are wonderful. We're here with you, Maria.
Right? Three rebels all in the same spot. Woo-hoo, watch out, one. All right, so we're going to play a little bit of a game. So I always start by asking, give me three words that describe you and a little bit of backstory. And we're going to make this extra fun by having you tell three words about the other person. So whoever wants to start, can give three words about the other person and a little bit of a backstory behind that. Let's make this extra fun.
All right, I'll go first. Man, we're so competitive. She beat me.
I know.
Oh, I'm gonna steal Shay's words. No. Okay, in describing Shay, the three words that I would use would be encouraging, because I feel like everyone that I have seen her encounter, she is always encouraging them in what they're doing, and it's just so exciting to see. The second one I would use is successful, which sounds a little big, but honestly, this woman, as I have gotten to know her, she'll mention something that she did. I don't want to give away any of her secrets, but I'll be like, what? And then, accomplish this and just different, just such a variety of things that is just so interesting. And then the last one, supportive. When I think of people who are just supporting and not just cheering on, but like, how can I help you? Anyone who meets her would say that about her. I know you're shaking your head, Maria, because you're like, yep, I've seen that. So very supportive. So maybe throughout this podcast, we can hear some of the backstories of Shay and facts about her. Oh boy, I don't know if you're ready for this.
I know, that would be an extra special episode. We might need to make it longer.
Oh, geez. Let's see. So many words come to mind. I actually wrote down my top three. No particular order. So, passionate. Just everything she does, she's 100% in. She's a passion for people, for educating. I mean, she's a passionate person. It's hard not to work with her and not get fired up about things. I mean, by the time I get in with a meeting with her, I'm ready to run through a wall. Let's go. Let's do it. I don't know. Take the hill. I'm soldiered up. So definitely passionate. And I don't know if this is a characteristic, but she is a problem solver. She overcomes obstacles. She's an achiever. She moves through things. One of the things you hear a lot with business owners, since we're talking about our entrepreneurs, is I can't do it because I don't have the resources, the time, the money, the people, right? If I had the right staff, if I had the right leader, all the things, she just goes bonk and does it. She just moves through it. And I think the last thing would be she's really good at coaching or developing people. So she figures out where to meet them where they are. She meets the player and helps them get to where they want to get. So some people can have a skill set, Maria, and that we've all seen the people that are really, really good at something, but they can't convey it.
Yep.
So she puts things on a level that I can understand. So I love that about her. So those are my top three. Elizabeth, you can slash my tires later.
Come on, those were a great word to describe her. And I do have to say, what a power duo you guys are, because just if you take all the words, all the 6 words that this, you use to describe each other, I mean, what a fantastic qualities of a leader and a leadership team, right? To empower people, to develop people, to problem solve. And as we said, I mean, yes, time and money. I do have to tell you, people come, we do a consult. Okay, I can't do it because I don't have the time or the money. So, and there is a lot that goes into that. Like one of the things that you guys talk about that I love is the mindset. Let's start with the money, hot topic, right? The mindset behind money. I will personally tell you, I had a lot of stories behind money that I didn't even know I have until I kind of became an entrepreneur and I had to ask people for money for my services. And I was like, oh, this is scary. So let's dive into that. Let's talk about mindset around money. What do you guys see? And I'd love to hear, especially around entrepreneurs, because I do think there's a little bit of a difference between somebody working in corporate and somebody being an entrepreneur. So whoever wants to take over and dive in.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you said so much in that, Maria, but it's so true. And I feel like being an entrepreneur brings out so many of those things that you probably wouldn't realize before. And it's funny because like the way that we feel about money can shape a lot of the actions that we take. So if we feel like we're in a good place financially, we're maybe going to make that bold business move, or we're feeling more confident about this next step that we're going to take. And if things don't feel good financially, in our business, then we're scaling back, or we're not being a strong leader, and it affects every aspect of our business. And that's why, I mean, one of the reasons that we chose to focus on this, because as leaders, as business owners, we have to be, on our A game in all these different areas. And the money aspect affects and contributes to that so much. So that's one of the reasons that, this is our focus. Shay, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, you absolutely nailed it. It is kind of like all the belief systems that are back there, and you nailed it, Maria. You grew up, and we have a belief system that was instilled upon you at some point in time, whether you wanted that program or not. Mine was scarcity. You have to work hard for money, right? It has to be hard stuff. It, doesn't flow to you easily and consistently. It was all these things, and you're on this ride, and you've got to go, I want to stop and have a different belief system. Why can't it flow to you easily and consistently? Why can't you be wise and get a good counsel on it? So and sitting in hundreds of financial meetings for many, many decades, I started seeing a common denominator. And those are many things that connected Elizabeth and I in this journey is I remember the day, Maria, when you say, if I can only make X amount of dollars and I'll be fine. Do you remember that? Like, if I can get where someone pays me this, or if I can do X, I'm good. And the next thing you know, you're in a different place. So it's always that achieving. So, I mean, absolutely. The first thing you have to do is get your mind right, because that mindset affects you physically too.
100%. It affects you. And, Elizabeth started by saying the belief system affects your actions, whether you realize it or you don't, right? Because for a lot of us, it's a subconscious belief that, Shay, you said, you don't even know it's there, right? Until you do some exercise like, what's your beliefs about money? And you're like, I'm good. And then you start and you're like, oh my God, like money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work really hard to get money. You can overcharge. People who have money are bad people, like all of these things, right? Sales are bad. And now you have to be the salesperson. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to be that bad person, right? And they hold us back. And by those limiting beliefs holding us back, they hold us back from sharing the gift that we have with others because we're so into our box.
I mean, and if you think about it, really, sales is service. You're solving a problem.
That's a mindset right there.
Yeah, you're bringing your talent, your gift to someone or something. And it is that mindset again. I mean, we don't want to be the salesperson. Oh my goodness! But if you're passionate about what you do, and you are, Maria, known you for a while, you're fired up, and you are the go-to person. And if you're fired up about what you bring to the table, it's contagious.
Yeah, but you have to get out of your own way to be able to have that contagious energy, right? Because if I come to you and I'm like, would you like to buy my services? I mean, I'm really good, right? That energy, you're like, no, thank you. I don't want to be anywhere close to that, right? It's, even if you don't, that's obviously an exaggeration, but like people can feel that energy and they can feel the lack of confidence of you not believing into your self-worth. That's a big one.
And it's amazing that scarcity that Elizabeth was talking about goes right into time. We all know that person. Everybody be kind. I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy. I never have time. They just convince themselves they have no time. I don't have time to do the hobby. I don't have time to do the thing. Right? I tell people, you're going to live 5 more years where you know how to ballroom dance, play the piano, or do something. It's what you prioritize.
Yes, it's what you prioritize. And when I tell people, I tell them, you know what? Okay, so you're saying, let's say your wellness is your priority, right? Let's pull your credit card and let's get a summary of the top places where you spend money. And let's see how aligned your spending is with your, with your spending money is with what you say is your priority. And now let's look at your schedule and let's look and see how your schedule is reflective of your priorities. And let's see how aligned those are. Oh, we got a thumbs up. Right. But we sometimes think we're doing things, and that's scary. Man, I'll tell you, that scarcity mindset, you guys, I have to be honest, I spent a lot of time and money on working on that mindset to transition from scarcity to abundance. Once I realized it was there, because I was blissfully unaware it's even there.
I think that's more times than not when we sit down with people, and it's all these belief systems. And yes, I'll fess up. Shoes would be on my credit card.
Well, come on, we have some of those special purchases.
It's like confession. Okay, you wore me down. But you think about it, where you spend your time shows your priorities. And a lot of times they're not aligned. And like you said, their health, their fitness, their mindset, their family, very rarely do we sit down with anyone, and Elizabeth can tell you this, that goes, most important thing to me is money. No one ever says that. It's their family, or they work hard for their family. And it's really helping them optimize that time to have that balance, and be able to live the life they want for the reasons they got into business for themselves. We don't sit down, when you agree, Elizabeth, and someone says, I got into business so I could spend less time with my family and be worried in bed about payroll and wake up in the middle of the night and be anxious.
Right. Not yet.
Yes. And that's such a powerful example, because frequently I ask my clients, what is your definition of success? Because I think that's something else that we are very conditioned on. What's my title? How much money I make? Not to discount that. I get it. I want to make money, right? I want to have a nice car. I want to have okay, I get that. But at what cost? And I think that's where we get lost. That's where we get misaligned, because we start chasing one thing and we forget about the other thing. We forget about wellness. We forget about spending time with the family. We forget about things that we enjoy, like you said, taking a dance class or going for a walk or whatever it is that you enjoy. So,
and I would say, like, that's one of the reasons that we chose to focus on time and money, because both of our backgrounds are more money related as far as like our actual professions. But when we sat down and talked about it, we said, people want both. And if you have a plan for them and it only results in money, but not time, not time with flexibility of who you want to be spending it with, then they're not happy. They're not fulfilled, but they didn't realize that. And then if you're only going for time, but you don't really have money to be doing much, that's not great either. And so that was the reason that we said, we want both. And I think that's why people get into business for themselves, is so they can have both.
Yes, that's a powerful statement. Hey Rebels, I want to take a quick moment to share something super exciting with you. If you've been feeling stuck, disconnected, or just know there is more to life than what you're experiencing, I have something special for you. I have created a powerful 6-step video series called Unleash Your Potential, an introduction to the Angelova Method. As a valued mind-body podcast listener, the series is my gift to you. In this series, I will guide you through the core elements of the Angelova Method, a unique approach that integrates movement, mindset, and mastery to help you align your body, mind, and life. You will learn practical techniques to improve your alignment, boost your core strength, and connect deeply to your inner self. Whether you're looking to enhance your physical health, gain mental clarity, or simply live more fully, these videos are designed to get you started on the path to your most vibrant self. And the best part? It's completely free. So if you're ready to break through barriers and unleash your full potential, head over to mindbodyexpert.com and get started today. Let's take this journey together, because you, my rebel, deserve nothing less than the extraordinary. Elizabeth, I love that, because I'll tell you, one of the big things for me was when I became an entrepreneur, I thought, oh, wow, I'm going to work a lot less and I'm going to make more money. And then I became an entrepreneur and I was like, whoa, what just happened? Right? Because especially in the beginning, you do everything, like I say, you're the CEO and you're janitorial services. You do everything in between. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about time management. What is some great advice you guys have for everybody who is like, I don't have time to do X, whatever that X is?
Wow. I'm going to jump in there with that, because I spent a lot of my career helping entrepreneurs, financial advisors manage their calendar, because you're getting business for yourself. And the next thing you know, you're working all the time, as they say. But, the basic core, going back to mindset, activity without purpose is draining. So if you figure out your purpose with the outcome results you want and start making your calendar. And what we realize is, I used to sit down and do this exercise, and a great one for people to do is to write down all the things I think they do in a week and how much they spend time doing it. And I would do this all the time, because it's easier. I'm not going to tell you something until you walk through it and you know exactly what I mean. So yeah. It's great, because they'll sit down and I go, okay, there's 57 hours and you tell me you work 85. So let's bring back into it. So it's putting like-minded things together, big on calendaring, and making sure you're doing the things that create the results that are profit generating if you're self-employed, and figuring out those different things. And there's so many different time management theories, Einstein, Parkinson, and we can go through all the different binders, the Frank, all the stuff like that. Really, it's figuring out what you're going to do and stick to it. So it has to be very customized to you. Because if I'm not going to carry a binder around and write things down, then you don't need the Franklin binder. Is it an app? But your time should reflect your priorities, the life you want, and the results you want. And look them all in there. So that was a long answer, I know, but I see more people that get whack-a-mole back and forth, as opposed to sitting down and having focused time and chunking like things together, because I'm going to say it. Yes, it's true. There's no tooth fairy, and there's no such thing as multitasking.
It's true too. And another thing, I'll call myself out. I have a pattern, a coping pattern, and that is the pattern of being busy. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I can get really busy, and my pattern of really busy gets me to not do the things that are outside my comfort zone, because you know what? I am busy and I don't have time for them. Then I'm like, wow, I'm literally staying busy with stuff that does not produce results that I want, but I'm feeling myself better because I'm doing something that's busy work that is not really producing anything for my bottom line or aligned with my priorities, right?
You're not a check the list girl, are you? Just check a box to make you feel good? Oh, no. I know you're not that
girl. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you're not that girl. I know better than that. And we all get caught up in it, because it's accomplishment, right? And just things and delegate. And there's so many tools on that. It's one of my favorite things that we get to teach and talk to business owners about, because what it is, things just bleed. And there's a law that says that whatever the task is, whatever time I allot for it, I'll expand into it. So sometimes we tell people to run a couple of sprints a day, put a whole bunch of activities that are like in a sprint. There's little things that you play and reward yourself. Just think, it's working for yourself. Elizabeth tells me she'll let me know when I earn it. But if I got all the things done that I need to get done in a week, and I could work half day Fridays, wouldn't that be great? I know, Elizabeth, I got goals. I got them.
And so Elizabeth, let me see, do you have anything to say? Because something else comes to mind.
Yeah, two things. One, Shay taught me and I implement it, and it's really helpful. But color coordinating your calendar. I'm totally stealing one of her points, but she teaches this. And at first I was thinking, man, I hope she doesn't look at my calendar because everything is blue. And
let's go look at mine.
yeah, exactly. But I started implementing this, and I'm telling you, it is so visual. I think we're all visual people. It is in your face. You know, if you have personal stuff, say working out is yellow, and you have personal time with your family, and then you've got different projects for work, and you see what fills your calendar. You see when you haven't had yellow on there in 3 days, and you know that's your workout. It's like it's a friendly reminder without actually having a reminder, you know, but it's right there for you. And one of the things that has helped me is, you know, I have young kids. And so sometimes I would see a call from school at 11 a.m. and, you know, someone got sick, you got to pick someone up for something. And I would think, I didn't do the one thing that it cannot go without being done today. You know, like in our business, you have, say, 1 hour worth of stuff that probably has to be done and everything else should be done, but it would not fall apart, you know? And I would think, I started doing all of those things first in case I did get a call, but I would think I need to have this done. And I'll tell you, you head into your day differently when it's 11 and you're like, man, I got these 2 major things done already. And now the rest of the day, okay, I'm going to stay as productive. Like I'm not going to slow down, but these big things that needed to move forward, they did. And so, you know, that came out of like scarcity for me. Like that's how I got into that, but I realized it was actually very helpful to implement.
You know, I think to what you both said, something that else is interesting that you can probably relate is if I have a list of stuff to do, right? And like you said, some is really like high importance, really makes a difference. And some is just like admin stuff that has to get done, right? And sometimes, yes, I'm like, let's do the admin stuff. Let me do this, let me do that, because again, I'm avoidance, right? I don't want to do what's uncomfortable. So, but then what's the feeling that you leave after you end the day and you're like, I didn't get done what I was like the high important stuff, right? That doesn't help you feel like she was saying it's, you know, Friday afternoon, I'm like, ooh, I feel accomplished. Like I've done all my stuff and the important stuff is done, not just stuff. And I think that makes a huge difference in how you feel, like even your productivity. You know, Elizabeth, you said in the beginning, there is the difference of you have revenue and you're ready to invest, but the energy that you go into it, like this is working, let's go versus there's no money, how am I going to invest? Let me pull back, right? It's kind of the same things with managing your time.
Yeah.
You don't
And one of the great things is that like so many of the habits and mindsets that will bring you more time will also bring you more money. Like they work together so well. And that's one of the exciting things is that you really start to see momentum. You know, you start implementing some of these things, you're seeing progress, you're seeing momentum, you're having it in 2 different areas. And that's when exciting things happen.
Yeah. What would be your one piece of advice for an entrepreneur who is just starting out and is like, I don't know, I'm losing my mind. I don't know how to manage my time. Resources are short and I want to do this and this and this. You know, that especially that beginning can be overwhelming, especially if it's, I'll tell you, especially if you go from corporate to entrepreneur and you're like, oh, there's no paycheck coming at the end of the month.
I'm sure we're kind of aligned in that. The first thing I think is to Elizabeth's point, eat the frog. Do the things that move your business forward. Do your top 3 every day. Make it a win and celebrate them. And you know what they are. And maybe things you want to procrastinate. It may not be the thing you want to do. Even if I'm selling my widget and I'm really good at making the widgets, I may not like prospecting or networking, but you know the things that are needed to be done. And if you're horrible at something, see if you can partner or outsource. Because sometimes it's hard to be good at everything. You know, partners. Okay. Got the brains over there and I'm the bronze. So it's a good partnership.
Elizabeth?
Yeah. She's got the jokes and I just laugh. I don't know. But yes, you figure out your needle moving activities and focus on those. And, you know, that's where results just start to come in, and reminding yourself to enjoy the process. Tell yourself that so often, especially in the beginning. Like, you don't want to get to where you were trying to go and look back and it's been a year and you're like, man, that was tough, but I grinded it and I made it and here I am. I mean, maybe it was tough and maybe you did grind, but so much better if you're like, that was tough, but I made it. And I enjoyed the process a little bit. Like, we know there's going to be challenges. So try to enjoy them, or think, what's it going to feel like to be on the other side of this? Or what kind of person am I going to be once I've got this down? Because that's exciting.
Yeah.
And to the point, enjoying the ride. Okay, this is a bad story. I was in the office in, cutoffs, cleaning, because that was what we did at the time was needed, right? And I'm very good at cleaning, I might add, great services. If you need janitorial, just give me a call. But I was cleaning the office and I was doing the baseboards, and I didn't realize it. They came by the office, I had the door unlocked, and they come in, I go around the corner, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was open or closed. I have an interview next week. And I just want to come by and check the place out and make sure I had the address," which you got to appreciate someone interviewing. You know how awkward it was whenever he showed up and I was the one who was interviewing yes. And he was hired. A great opening relationship, because once again, as a leader, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You roll your sleeves up, they respect it, and we did it. But that is a true story. And so now I wear a baseball hat and at least put my eyelashes and eyebrows on. I couldn't clean the office in the weekend. I stepped up my game. A lesson learned.
You know what? I think especially in the beginning, I mean, I'll tell you, I still do a lot of things. And actually, that's another question I wanted to quickly address, because I think that's another question that's very relevant, especially to entrepreneurs. I mean, yes, corporations have budgets as well, but frequently you're like, yes, I want to hire X, an IT person, maybe coaching services, maybe marketing services, whatever it is. But I don't have the resources, but I don't have the time to train them, right? So how do you help entrepreneurs with that? Or what is the suggestion? Because it's like, well, I need to get the resources to be able to afford the services, but I need the services in order to free time so that I can do more revenue generate, right? It's like the chicken or the egg. Any thoughts about that, or any suggestions? Especially, again, it applies in corporate as well, but especially to entrepreneurs.
I mean, it is the $1 million question, because there's no money always. And I've done it, you've done it, we probably still do it to some degree. It's thinking out of the box and being creative. And there's this 4-letter word I'm going to throw out there, and it's called help. Sometimes you just got to ask for help or partner up. We recently were talking to someone about maybe give percentage of your company, or listen, I tell you what, you can do my website and you can market this and I'll help you with that. You tag team. So it's going back to that resourcefulness. Mm-hmm. There's never a lack of resources. Think of all the people who've done all kinds of amazing things in the industry. It's a lack of being resourceful. Mm-hmm. So think outside the box, brainstorm, go to social media, get people, just keep going until you find a solution, and the money will come. Anything you want to add, Elizabeth?
Yes. And then you hit a point where it does make sense to outsource, because, and this is different for everyone, but you run the numbers for yourself and you typically know, is the time it's going to take me to clean the office or make this website or whatever the task is. If you spent that on a needle moving activity or revenue generating activity, would it offset it? And you hit a point where the answer is yes. So even though, and I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, we get stuck in that because we are used to doing everything. We are like, I can handle it, I can do it, but there is a balance, and you get to a threshold.
And I think that's also mindset, right? Shifting your mindset from I have to do everything to, wait, I don't have to do everything. And there is also the mindset of control, right? And letting go of some of the things of how are they going to get done? Are they going to get the same way? And I think also it has to do with the mindset of scarcity, right? Versus abundance. Oh, I'm scared to make an investment. Some investments are well worthwhile because of the return that they'll have. And then some investments maybe are back office investments, which are not directly related to revenue, but like you said, Elizabeth, they can free up your time so that you can do something that generates revenue. Mm-hmm. So much mindset that goes into time and money. All right. Any final piece of advice you want to give for anybody listening? It doesn't have to be entrepreneur, anything. It doesn't have to be time or money.
The first thing that came to my mind, and Grandpa, this is for you, is show me your friends and I'll show you you. So be careful who you hang out with. and you always want to be the lowest common denominator in your group, because proximity is influence. Be careful of the influence you get in that mindset.
Powerful one. I so believe in the power of the tribe. And you guys know we're part of the same tribe. We talk about that. It's so important to surround yourself with like-minded people who cheer, support you, and say, let's go get out of your box and let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mine would be focused on be clear on who you want to become. And it's so easy to get stuck looking like where we're at, the circumstance we're in right now, or where our business is, or where our family is, or anything. And it's easy to get focused on that and just being mindful of where you want to go, and having some affirmations or some visualizations or something that helps remind you of that, because knowing where you want to be is the only way that you get there, but it's also what helps you put forth the habits, the effort, the mindset to get there, and not where you are.
One thing that I do is when I get into my head, right, with mindset stuff, I tell the person who I want to become, how is she going to handle this, right? Because sometimes it's a very different decision that will be made from that person versus the scared person who I am right now. And that just helps me gain even clarity around my limiting beliefs, right? Okay, I get it. I hear it, right? I can see the discrepancy. So
I love that you even said that, Maria. And if it's hard for you to picture yourself like that, because sometimes it is, think of a mentor. I had mentors that I would think that exact same thought, except I would think, how would so-and-so handle this? And I could clearly see it because I had seen it. Sometimes it makes it easier for us in the beginning, then could go do it. So that's powerful. I love that you said that.
Awesome. All right, ladies, cannot let you go without me hearing your definition of rebellious.
To me, rebellious is stepping into your own power or your own truth, whatever is true to you. That is rebellious.
Very similar to mine. I think the definition is not being against something. It's probably being for what you are, regardless of the situation. It's being authentic. And sometimes people think that it is rebellious.
Yes, indeed. Why I came up with rebellious, people are like, you're doing what now? And I was like, yep, that is me.
all day long. There you go. And back to the educator and Miss Elizabeth, a little treat for some of your listeners today. Some tips for their entrepreneur. Elizabeth, I'll let you.
Yeah. Yes. So we put together 4 myths, money myths specifically, that entrepreneurs typically fall prey to. We probably both have at different points. So that's free on our website for them to download. It's www.iq4profit.com. And that's a free resource for them, because they're the top 4 when we kind of thought about what have we seen people struggle with. This is them, and just some frameworks to rethink it. So they'll find it helpful.
And there's that rebellious part right there, Maria, because instead of doing top 3 or top 5, she went 4.
She was breaking against the status quo. She did 5 or 3. Right? That makes sense. I like how it aligns with the brand. Very smart. So we're going to also make sure that we post the link to the website. Where else can people find you? If they want to connect personally with you, social media profiles, where can they find you? Where do you guys hang out?
Yeah. So our website obviously is www.iq4profit.com. Also on Instagram, same handle at IQ4profit. And we're on LinkedIn as well. So our company and us under our personal names.
Yeah. And I should throw out that you guys do speaking, right? And you guys also have mastermind classes online, right?
Yes, we do. And we've got something very exciting launching in January. That's, I don't know.
That's exciting.
Business Accelerator. And basically it's a membership program that we take business owners from beginning to end, and everything from bookkeeping and how your business can benefit you and your family, the things that we procrastinate because we're busy, right, working in our business. And so it's really making sure you're optimizing the benefits of being in business for yourself while you're minimizing exposure to risk in taxes. Because we haven't met that person yet, Maria, who says, I just don't think I'm doing my part for taxes. So we try to help keep more in your pocket with some of the business strategies that are on the table. So we're really excited about that. And that was kind of created because they were like, this is great information. I take it. And then I'm sure you've never had any of your listeners have great information and don't implement.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing knowing it, it's another thing doing it, right? Taking action about it. And I see that all the time, actually. I see a lot of people who take lectures and summits and go to things and then it goes nowhere. They're like, but it doesn't really work. And it's like, well, have you taken action?
Wow. So we're fixing that. So what it is, we're actually walking them through the implementation and then to the next step and having experts come in everything from bookkeeping, what to write off, where to put things, what entity you should have, just what the entrepreneurs have told us through the years, especially lately as the courses come through, what they want. So we're excited about delivering that for them.
Okay. January 2025, Rebels. Do you hear that? Okay. And we're going to share a link to your website. And ladies, thank you so much for the fun conversations. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be here with us. Rebels, you know that they will share, like, if you have any questions, let us know what those are. And as always, the most important part, do not forget to stay rebellious. We will see you next time.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you for joining us on the Mind Body Podcast, where we explore the power of living authentically and rebelliously. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow rebellious soul who would love to hear what we share as much as you do. Stay strong, stay calm, and most importantly, stay rebellious. Until next time, rebellious souls, keep living fully. Your journey is just beginning.